Well, hello, DCO Nation. Welcome back to another live chat. Well, to get things started off, cheers. I appreciate you guys stopping by. And I got a couple of quick announcements to make. I'm going to get it kind of started right off. Um, First of all, I will be giving away a 10-pack of Jelley Baits. I've already got the pack all made up here. It's got a little bit of everything. It's got some paddle tails, some kicking critters, some magnificent shrimp, some of the UFO jerk baits. And the only thing you need to do to get signed up to get the win the prize of the Jelley Baits is to go over to my Instagram. And you don't have to follow me or do anything like that. The only thing you need to do is send me a message with the word flounder in the message. And then Sunday, May 5th, I will draw a winner. I'll contact you and I'll send you the prize. So um, that will get you into the contest. Joe Bell, nice to see you in here. Nice to see you. Mellow Real, how you doing? So that's the random giveaway. I'll be hitting on that a couple of different times. Announcement number one. I am currently working with a local artist to come up with some designs so that I can put them on a shirt and a hat. Russell, nice to see you again, buddy. How you doing? So I'm working with this kid, and he is very, very talented. He's already working on one design for me, and I'm going to put it on again, some shirt and some hats, and it's going to be on some real high quality stuff. I'm either looking at like AFCO fishing shirts or Columbia or something along those lines. One of the things that I've always said is if I ever put out any type of merchandise, it's going to be good, high quality stuff. If I wouldn't wear it, I'm not going to sell it. So probably be like Richardson 112 hats or 115 hats. And they will only be a minimum run of this stuff. So I'll probably only get maybe about 30 or 40 shirts, maybe about 20, 25 hats, and that's really going to be it. Because one, I'm going to manage it all myself. It's not coming out of any type of a warehouse or being shipped in from someplace else. I'm taking the design, I'm taking it over to a place to go ahead and get them embroidered in, and I'm taking care of everything. So it's just going to be a minimum run. I want to just kind of see what kind of interest there is in this. Again, the local artist I'm working with, he is putting together some pretty cool stuff. So hopefully you guys will like that. Maybe I'll throw out a little hint or maybe one of the designs here shortly. But I'm probably within probably a month or two on the outside to get some of this stuff out. But just kind of watch on Facebook and Instagram for all of that kind of stuff and stay up on top of that. So announcement number two. Hey, Will, nice to see you. How you doing? Um, Announcement number two. I am going to kind of have a contest and see if anybody wants to fish with me. So I have set aside a day so you can basically win a fishing trip with me. I don't know why people would want to fish with me, but I thought maybe a 4 or 5 hour fishing trip on a Saturday. So what you need to do is what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick two winners to fish with me on June 29th. June 29th is a Saturday, and obviously it's going to be weather dependent. So there is a few little caveats to this. One, you got to be local or be within driving distance. I'm not paying any travel expenses. And we are going to be kayak fishing. So you have to have your own kayak. So you have to be able to get here on your own and have your own kayak. But again, the only thing you need to do is leave a comment on this live stream and put in the phrase fishing trip and you'll be entered. So you guys that are already on here tonight, if you pop in fishing trip, then when I do the random uh, contest, I can't remember what this app is called, but it basically picks comments at random, and you can put in a key phrase into it and only picks out those key phrases, and then I'll pick two winners from that. So, guys, if you're interested in fishing with me on June 29th, I'll be picking two winners. So just leave a comment in this live stream with the phrase fishing trip, and you'll be entered. So it looks like we already have a couple of questions. Joe, I'm going to start with you. What do you use the fish finder for? Okay, so I have a Garmin Striker 4. It is the Clearview, the CV, and I use it really only for a couple of things. One, I'm not really trying to locate fish with it. I use it for water depth. With my kayak, I want to kind of see how deep the water is. One, if I start getting too shallow, I want to be able to pull my drive out. And two, I'm looking for deep holes. As I'm kind of pedaling around, I'm looking for any transition spots or deep holes with that fish finder. And the second main thing is water temperature. So, especially in the winter and spring or the fall going into winter, I am looking at water temperature. And that's really the only thing that I'm using my fish finder for. Again, I think I have seen fish, especially on the bottom of the creek channels, but very rarely do I circle back around or use that to actually locate fish. Excuse me. But that's a really good question. Thank you. I thought I saw another one. Mellow Reel. Have you used the Z-Man Salty Shrimp? And if so, how did it do? Okay, so yes, matter of fact, I didn't use the salty shrimp per se, but I used their little 3-inch shrimp last Sunday, and I caught a flounder. And I was using it on a 3/16 ounce jig head. I have also used them on a Texas eye. They work really well on the Texas eye. The finesse eye, which is like a 1/10 or a 1/16 ounce, very small, very light, especially if I'm throwing up into the grass. Early in the spring, the lighter weights and the smaller profiles work really well. But yeah, the salty Ned shrimps and their 3-inch shrimps work great. If you use a jig head like a trout eye jig head, that jig head will be on the bottom, and Z-Man is so buoyant it will stand it straight up, and the profile looks really good. I have also used it just on a Ned head and a mushroom Ned head. Boy, guys, excuse me. Man, I've got a frog in my throat. But on the mushroom Ned head, that will really make that thing stand up, because you bass fishermen know that that Ned head will make that whatever bait you're using stand straight up. And again, the buoyancy of that Z-Man really looks and works well. A matter of fact, I had a video out, I think it was last fall, where I caught a couple of flounder in the creeks of Polly's plantation, or excuse me, Polly's Island. and I pitched it out in some real calm eddy areas, and it worked really well. So yeah, the Z-Man works well. Again, the Magnificent Shrimp works very well also, especially on a jig head if you're looking for another alternative. So yeah, that the Z-Man, I love Z-Man. Again, especially right now, I've been seeing a lot of bluefish up in the creeks, and those bluefish are really nipping the tails pretty hard and tearing tails off of baits. And you guys know how durable the Z-Man is, and it just works really, really well. Dean, nice to see you. Heath, you made it on. How you doing, man? Good to see you. Um, Henry, do you ever fish with a double dropper rig? I have never fished with that. I don't know anything about it. I have seen other guys use it. I have actually seen guys use a double dropper to do flounder. So, but no, I've never done it. Let me know if you've ever used it, but I've never used one before. Will, how you doing, Will? Will is friends with my son. They came over. Bree and Jackson Little told me about you. So, Will, nice to see you and meet you. So it says, I'm brand new to kayak fishing and saltwater fishing. Any recommendations for rigs and baits used on a fishing trip? Yeah, absolutely. So, right now, the key, especially for flounder, the flounder have really been hitting. The last few trips we've been out on, especially Heath, since he's joined us, Heath has actually outfished me the last couple of times. So, Heath, I don't think you're invited anymore. You can just stay at home, buddy. You can't outfish the host. Yeah, it's just not how it works. So, but the key to flounder fishing is being on the bottom and having enough weight to be on the bottom. So anytime that you are within probably like 1 to 3 feet of water, eighth of an ounce jig head will get you on the bottom. From about 3 to 5 feet, use that 3/16. 5 to 8 feet, use a quarter. And really anything deeper than about 8 feet, you can do 3/8 to a half an ounce to make sure you are on the bottom. So the flounder are an ambush fish and they lay on the bottom. And that's where you need to be. They will come up a little bit and attack, whatever prey that they're looking for. But, if you have that on the bottom, giving it a couple of little twitches, they will attack it. You got to have it in front of their face. Okay. Their eyes are oriented on top of their head. So they are constantly looking up. But yeah, that's where you want to be. You want to be right on the bottom. Flounder, I don't think, in my opinion, really are that picky on bait size. I have caught flounder with mullets sticking out of their mouth, 7, 8 inch mullets sticking out that they weren't able to get all the way down and digest. So they will eat anything from a small shrimp to a 7 inch paddle tail. Anything in between there, a flounder will hit. I know that I'm concentrating a little bit more on the flounder, but yeah, that is really what's hitting right now. Redfish will, the way that their mouths are oriented is on the bottom of their face. So when they feed downward and they like to pin their bait down. So again, if you are on the bottom, this is where they are going to hit and pin their bait. So again, the key is being on the bottom. They will hit top water. I have caught redfish on top water. There was a tournament I was in down in Charleston, and I was working a wake bait right off of some oyster bars. And it was only in about 1 or 2 feet of water. The water was dumping off of this flat, and this redfish came up, and I mean, he crushed this little wake bait. So yes, they will come up and hit something, but I don't think, in my opinion, again, redfish will come up from 4 or 5 feet out of a channel to hit a top water. I could be wrong with that, and if you guys have ever experienced that, let me know. But usually, I like fishing a topwater for redfish in 1 to 3 feet of water, and that'll work well for you. So, Will, I hope that helps you out. And if you got any more questions, you guys can message me on Instagram or Facebook, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. He said, "Oh, it's all luck." Nah, nah, buddy, it's skill. It's skill, buddy. Russell, will you talk about how you fish around shell beds? Yeah, absolutely. So, matter of fact, when Heath and I were out on Sunday, was it Sunday or Saturday? Man, all my days are running together. Anyway, the last time I was out, I was coming up to an oyster bed. It was marked with a white PVC pole. And I wanted to make sure that I was getting very close to that because I was seeing the shrimp pop around it. So the way that I fish around shell beds and oyster beds is usually there are two deep spots on either side of the oyster bed. So I definitely want to make sure that I am fishing those deep areas, okay, either on both sides. You can use a jig head to do that. Just don't throw inside that oyster bed or you will get hung up. If I am doing a paddle tail and swimming it, like if this is the oyster bed and I'm swimming like across the top, first, my retrieve speed is going to be just fast enough where I don't get hung up. So I want to be as close as I can to that shell and as fast without it hitting. And I'm using a weedless presentation like a Texas eye. So those weedless Texas eyes work well. Yeah, you may get hung up, but they'll pop right out. But a jig head will work itself down into that oyster and you will get hung up. So speed is key to stay on top with a weedless presentation. And then I work the outer perimeter as close as I can to the oyster with a jig head. I feel my hookup ratio is better with a jig head than with a weedless presentation. You really have to set that hook hard with a Texas eye. One of the things that I learned again on Sunday is I had a Texas eye on a Z-Man paddle tail and I lost a really nice flounder. I had it on a medium light action. I went to set it, but there was enough flex in it where I don't think I buried that hook in deep enough because I ended up losing him, which you'll see on the video, which will come out Saturday. I'm doing all the editing right now. But yeah, I hope that helps, Russell. But yeah, definitely work those shell beds. And the old rule of thumb is if you're not getting hung up, then you're not fishing in the areas where there are fish. So oysters, grass lines, throw up into that grass with a weedless presentation, not on the edge, but throw up into the grass and work them out because as the tide comes up, those fish are working back into the grass. So, don't be afraid to go out there and get hung up. Okay. Freedom, hey, great to see you, man. I know he's been on, I think, almost every one of these live streams, so I really appreciate you. Does water visibility and clarity affect the fishing? Yes and no. So the reason I say that is if you are fishing a body of water where the water is usually clear, and then you get an influx of rain and it muddies up the water, yes, it's going to affect those fish. If you are fishing a body of water where it's usually very muddy or tannic, then those fish aren't usually used to seeing very far in muddy water. So they are using other senses like their lateral lines or their sense of smell you know, the thump of a paddle tail. So yes, clarity does affect it, especially if you're going from one extreme to another. So like in Merle's Inlet for the most part is pretty clear water. But if we would get some type of tropical low or hurricane that would move in, that would muddy up the water, we'd get a lot of runoff. Yeah, it's going to affect the fishing for a few days until we get some tide cycles that'll flush that out and clear that water back up again. So, yes, it does. Now, how do you combat that? Again, darker stained water, I like darker colors. And anything that's going to put off any more vibration, uh, a paddle tail, a chatterbait, anything with any type of a thump where these fish can start to key in on your lure. And then any type of scent. I like Procure, but there's all different kinds of things on the market. I know Salt Strong has a scent that they have, and I can't think of it off the top of my head, but you know, scent and thump, you know, and any type of you know, thing that you can set yourself apart inside that muddy water will definitely help you. Something's fishing. Came down from Michigan 3 weeks ago and caught flounder on the Voodoo Shrimp. Love the South Carolina fishing. Yeah. Hey, the Voodoo Shrimp. I love it. I've been fishing it for years. I think they're awesome. I was using it a couple of weeks ago where I caught some flounder, and I've caught everything on it. I've caught reds, flounder, and trout. I remember getting on a trout bite. I think it was, I can't remember if it was last fall or maybe last spring, but I had it under a popping cork, you know, with about 2 feet of a leader under a popping cork with a Voodoo Shrimp, and you know, and I was picking up trout. So yeah, man, Voodoo Shrimp, love it. Fantastic. I'm glad you caught some fish while you were down here. And I can't remember 3 weeks ago, but I hope the weather was all right for you. I know the spring's been pretty crappy. You know, the wind's been pretty awful. But you know, I am planning on going out on Saturday. I think they're calling for some rain on Sunday. I'm going to kind of keep an eye out on the weather. But I am going to hit Polly's on Saturday. I haven't fished Polly's in a while, and I want to go out there and kind of see what's going on. I would love to get on a good Polly's flounder bite and maybe jump up into some of those creeks up towards Litchfield and maybe see if there's any cruising red. So I'm going to be going out, and I am going to be throwing some Voodoo Shrimp and probably a couple of paddle tails. And I want to throw some of the Z-Man kicker crab. I have not caught a redfish on the kicker crab, and I want to. And now is a perfect time to do it because I heard the crab hatches going on, and there's a lot of little blue crabs and moving around, and the fiddler crabs are up onto the mud banks now. So, you know, I want to go out there and I want to get up into these creeks where it's only, you know, a foot or two and see if I can't pick up a nice red with one of those kicker crabs. So that's kind of my plan um, this weekend. So that is, you know, I'm really looking forward to getting back down to Polly's. Um, I also wrote down a couple of comments. Oh, since some of you guys had jumped on a little bit late, I am doing a Jelley Baits giveaway. I already have the pack all made up here. It's got a little bit of everything. I also threw in a Deadcom sticker, but it's got some 4-inch assassins, some uh, magnificrimps, UFOs, jerk baits, a little bit of everything, a multitude of colors. And if you guys want to win this pack, the only thing you need to do is go over to my Instagram account, Deadcom Outdoors, and leave me a message with the keyword flounder. And this Sunday, May 5th, I will randomly choose a winner and send out the pack to you. So head over there, check out my Instagram account, and again, leave the keyword flounder, and I will contact you if you are the winner of the 10-piece Jelley Baits pack. So I'll get that sent out to you. I did write down some other kind of common questions that I get with my videos. One of them is, what size reel do I need for inshore fishing Merle's Inlet? So I actually get this one quite a bit, and it's one of the um, common mistakes that I see with especially newer anglers that move down to South Carolina that don't do a lot of inshore fishing is they come and they have these big, huge reels, these 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 size reels, and they think that they need to land, a 50-inch, 80-pound fish. Well, when you inshore fish, there aren't fish that are that big. The size that I use is a 2,500 and a 3,000 size. I have caught everything up to a 25-inch redfish with a 2,500 and handled it just fine. So you don't need these big, huge saltwater reels to, do inshore fishing. You just don't need it. And then to follow that up, it says, what pound test line do I use? I use braided line and I use 10-pound braid. I feel the casting distance is better. Obviously, the heavier the braid, you're not going to get the casting distance. And the further away you can stay from the fish, the better off you're going to be. So, lighter braid. I've even heard of guys using 8-pound braid. And again, a 10-pound braid, I've fought 25-inch redfish on it, 21-inch flounder, not a problem. I've never had a braid failure. No, I take that back. I've had one braid failure down in Charleston, and I'm not exactly sure what happened. It was just an anomaly. I hooked into him, and um, he took off one way and then like zigzagged back the opposite direction, and it broke the braid. And I'm not sure if there was, if it was frayed right there or not. I don't know, but that's the only failure that I've had with 10-pound braid. It's never broke on me. So yeah, so I hope that helps. The other one that I get quite a bit is, why don't you keep fish? Uh, so I love fish. I love to eat fish. But when I go out and fish, I am what they call a conservation fisherman. So I would rather release those fish, one, so that especially these big females can go back out, lay more eggs so that we have more fish in our fisheries. If you harvest that fish, if I take that fish home, then I'm the only one that can enjoy that fish. So I feel like, if I put it back, at least one more person can enjoy catching that fish. That's the way I do it. When my dad comes out and fishes with me, we keep fish. I love, to cook fish, fry fish. That is definitely not why I don't keep them. I'd rather go to the store, pick up some fish, fry it up, or do whatever. Or if dad comes down and he wants to, keep a flounder or two, or whatever, a trout, then we'll have a nice fish dinner. But no, I don't keep fish when I go out. I release everything. So guys, it is about a half hour, and that's usually what I try to keep these live streams at. But I want to go over again just my announcements really quickly one more time. So announcement number one is I'm working with a local artist to come up with some designs that I'm going to be putting on some hats and some shirts. And these are going to be high quality shirts and hats. Again, they may be AFCO shirts, Columbia shirts, but they're going to be high quality stuff. Richardson hats, probably the 112s or the 115s. I always told myself that if I am going to put out any type of merch or merchandise, that if I wouldn't wear it, I'm not going to sell it. So you guys know just by the videos that I where a lot of the Columbia stuff, it blocks the sun very, very well. I'm a big believer in them. I'm not sponsored by them at all. I just love the product. AFCO has a great product. But I have been in touch with the artist. I have seen some of the designs. I chose one to begin with. And so he's going to be kind of cleaning that up a little bit. And hopefully within a month, maybe two at the outside, we'll have something to put out there. So stay tuned to my Instagram or Facebook, and I'll let you guys know when that stuff is ready to go. Secondly, if you guys want to have a chance to fish with me, I am going to have a 4 or 5 hour fishing trip, but it's going to be a contest for two people. So these two winners will be able to fish with me on June 29th. It is on a Saturday, and it's going to be weather dependent. Obviously, if it's raining, if it's 15, 20 mile an hour winds, we're not going to go out, but we'll just reschedule and we'll find a time that we can go out. A couple of caveats to this. One, you have to be able to get here on your own. I'm not paying travel expenses. I'm not flying down anybody from, Illinois or anything like that to come fishing with me. So you have to be able to make it to Murrells Inlet and have your own kayak, and so that we can go out and kayak fish. So how do you get entered? You have to leave a comment on this live stream with the phrase fishing trip, and then you'll be entered. And then I'll put it into one of the random comment apps and pick out two winners. I'll contact you guys, and then we will go out and fish and hopefully have a good day. So, guys, I really appreciate y'all stopping by. Thanks again. Hopefully, I've got a lot of these bugs worked out with this live stream. I'm going to keep kind of tweaking a couple of little things, the little intro. I know I had a rolling intro last time. It was animated intro. This one was just a slide. I may try like a little highlight trailer next time. I'm just kind of playing around with it. So I'm really enjoying doing it. And as long as you guys keep showing up, I'm going to keep doing it. And so, guys, I will see you in 2 weeks, which is, I'm pulling up a calendar right now. So May 16th at 8 p.m., we will have our next one. So, guys, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I will see you guys out on the water.